Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Hawaiiverse podcast, a podcast that supports local by holding our breaths through the Nu'uanu Pali tunnel so our wishes come true. I'm your host, Kamaka Diaz, and I just drove through some tunnels the other day, and I wish that I would have the best and biggest podcast in Hawaii. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to say my wish out loud or it's not going to come true. I wish to do yard work at my brother's house in Hilo next time and for him to give me $100. Okay, that's better. In this episode, for our local business giveaway, we're teaming up with Base Bookshop, an independently owned bookstore located on Nu'uanu Ave in Chinatown. They are giving one lucky winner a surprise gift bundle. Head over to Hawaiiverse and enter now. Okay, on to my favorite part, introducing our guest. Our guest today comes from the island of Oahu and is an award-winning Hawaiian Filipino R&B soul musician who is quickly gaining fame and worldwide recognition. This local girl is known for her silky smooth vocals and recently was named Most Promising Artist and R&B Album of the Year in 2021. Her debut album, I Am, charted to number 2 on the iTunes R&B charts. And after you hear her sing, you'll be confused as to why that is, because it definitely should have charted at number 1. Seriously, she is so good. It's crazy. Some of her works have been featured on platforms such as Netflix, MTV, VH1, Disney, and so much more. She's awesome, and her name is Kelana Mokulehua. Aloha, Keilana. Welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for being here and listening. Thanks for having me, Kamaka.
Of course. We've crossed paths a few times, actually. So, I feel like I can call you my friend.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. So my friend, two-time the Hoku Hano Hano Award winner, Keilana is here, everybody. No big deal. She follows me on Instagram and it's whatevers. But I'm stoked to have you on.
I'm glad to be here. And I would say we're friends, too, because, I seen you rip your pants when we were trying to get on, the boat that one time. So I think
it brought us real close.
It got us close,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So now your pants are all good, though, right?
I got new ones.
Good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't think I've ever worn pants on the podcast, even though it's kind of cold here. I'm just a shorts and locals on my feet kind of guy.
There we go.
But yeah, we collaborated on the Propeller Live. That was this Instagram live that people would this Propeller Live
during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, and then Vita Mia Live, this concert on the yacht. And then, we made that video together with CPB because we were part of the Shaka crew.
Yes.
And then where I accidentally ripped my pants going up onto the boat. Yeah, so you guys can go check that out. I love those funny moments. I embrace those.
Good.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear if you have any of those moments too.
Oh, maybe we'll share a few later on in the show for sure.
All right. So before we get started, let's just talk about where you're from, where you grad. I want to get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So I am actually born and raised out of Kapolei. So I'm from the west side of Oahu.
Nice.
Went to public school pretty much my whole life until 9th grade. I got into Kamehameha, so I am a proud graduate of Kamehameha schools.
Oh, you're a halfie. You did half public, half...
I did.
I think that's the best way.
It is. It really is. I have friends who've been lifers, and, props to you guys. You guys got the royal treatment, your whole life. But at the same time, I don't think they've seen the real world, right? And so I think for me, it was very interesting. It gave me a sense of gratitude to being able to, not really, struggle, but public school is way different.
Yeah,
I
think it's just when you're in private school, you're kind of more in a bubble.
Right.
Yeah, and even not even private school, but smaller school where everything is kind of more controlled.
Yeah.
Because even when I went to a Hawaiian immersion school, it's a public charter school, but it has the sense of a private school.
Yes.
So I totally would... I always thought when I get older, I want my kids to go public and then private.
So did you go to Punana
I went to Punana Leo and then Hawaiian immersion, elementary, middle school, high school.
High school too?
Yeah. And then my senior year of high school, I moved here to Kaiser.
I see.
Yeah. But this isn't about me. This is about you.
Right, okay.
So you went to Kamehameha.
I did. I graduated in 2012. And one thing I will always credit Kamehameha schools to is just they really encourage the arts out there. And I think I would say that if it wasn't for Kamehameha and the opportunities they provided me, I can confidently say I don't think I would have been a musician or pursued the path that I currently am on. So mahalo to Pauahi and the institution for giving me that knowledge, because after that I did go to college and continue my education at University of Hawaii at Manoa. So
Nice.
yeah.
Imua.
Thank you. Imua. There we go.
So when you were at Kamehameha, you did song contests and all of that?
I did song contest. I was a song contest director, and I really took advantage of all of the opportunities they had. So I was in a class called Music Tech, and they taught how to produce music production, songwriting. I was in concert glee, so of course choir, singing, and yeah, it really helped me to develop a love and a passion for my art and my craft now. So.
And were you always singing growing up? Were you ever into sports or, I don't know, crafts?
My parents, when I was younger, when they have new kids, you put them in everything. And they tried to get me to become an athlete because my parents, I come from two athletes. My dad, was in football. My mom was the cheer captain, homecoming queen. So that was, their thing. And they really, really wanted that for me. But for some reason, it couldn't stick. But I always had a natural kind of gift and talent and draw towards music. My grandpa got me a piano when I was young, and I would spend hours on it, and that's kind of how my mom figured out, oh, she maybe has a knack for that. So they kind of really nurtured that and helped me to get confident. But I would say again, if I didn't go Kamehameha, I wouldn't have, really been able to let that blossom, because I was very shy growing up, public school, and to myself. So me being on stage or even just playing an instrument was not something I would let the public know. It was always something at home. Yeah, so.
Did you used to do YouTube videos? Is that how you started?
That's how I started. Yeah, I started that way. And in fact, the funny story about that was Mom, when I got into Kamehameha, she wanted the legacy of the cheerleader, that was her thing. She was a cheer coach. I was in Pop Warner, so I did cheerleading for a little bit, but she was like,
do you have any old videos we can watch?
Oh my gosh, no, sorry. No, Nana. But yeah, when I got into Kamehameha, her eyes lit up. She's like, oh my gosh, because Kamehameha is like probably the best cheerleading squad on island.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They go to like national level competitions kind of thing. So she was excited. So she called up the coach. She's like, my daughter's an incoming freshman. I want her audition. So she put me in, and I was the only new freshman. Everybody else, they came from middle school, and everybody's fit, and I'm over there struggling, trying. And I remember telling my mom, please, I don't want to be a cheerleader. I just want to take art class. And she's like, no, you cannot take art class. If you want, you either got to do cheerleading, or you can take your art class. Or if you don't do cheerleading, you got to take choir. Because she knew that I had, again, like a knack for music, and she wanted to help develop that. So I was like, no, I don't want to sing. I don't want to. So I did the art class. And on the very last day of cheerleading auditions, tryouts, I couldn't do it. So I threw in the towel, went home crying. I was like, Mom, I can't do cheerleading. It's so hard. And she's like, okay, go call your counselor. Go let her know you can switch to choir. So I had to call, and I was like, can we change art to choir? And then I fell in love with it. And then now I'm doing music. So
that's a good example of when one door closes, another one opens.
Exactly.
So
I have many of those stories. But
that's awesome. At Kamehameha, was there a requirement to take those classes, or that's just strictly your parents?
There was a requirement, yeah. Like, I think, of course, one big requirement is everybody has to be a part of song contest,
What if you can't sing?
Too bad. You still got to be a part of it. That's a graduation requirement.
I guess that's funny, because when I was at my Hawaiian immersion school, you had to oli, you had to sing.
Right.
But I never thought I could sing or do anything, so I would always lip sing. So are there a lot of people? I was the Kolohe kid.
You were the Kolohe kid.
Yeah, I was the kind where we have to dance hula, and I try to break dance.
Oh,
and I would get in trouble.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there'd be those kids too, the ones that don't want to be in the song contest rehearsals, so they just, fall asleep or, just lip sync. Yeah. But then there's some that, they don't have, an ounce of pitch in their but they just let it proud, and they just sing.
I respect those people,
I
though.
do too.
Yeah.
So if you love to sing, sing it out, especially if you go Kamehameha, you better sing out loud. So
maybe just stick with the karaoke.
Maybe
at home, not so much at the bar. Or somewhere else, leave that to the professionals. That's what it's for. That's what the karaoke is for, just to
have fun, let loose.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow, so that's really cool. After you graduated, you went to Manoa, and did you pursue music?
Yes. So when I was at Kamehameha, my parents were very close. My family is a very close and tight knit. But growing up, I kind of came from like a very sheltered, overprotective family. I was the oldest, and of 3 girls. So my parents were like, okay, we gotta, watch over them and stuff. But so one thing I had to do was like an incentive to go play outside or go to the movies with my friends or go to a sleepover. Back in high school, I needed to shoot a video of me singing and then put it on YouTube for my mom to put on YouTube. And so if I'm like, oh, mom, so-and-so wants me to go to her, birthday party sleepover. And she's like, okay, well, we got to go shoot this video. And I would always be like, oh, man, please, I don't want to. But then we would do that. And I kept it like on the down low when I was in high school.
What year was it? What year did you grad?
2012.
2012, okay.
Yeah.
So you
it was
were
like
in
about
college around
2013.
13,
Yeah. So I kept it on the down low in high school. But one boy, Ricky Ng, he found the video.
Shout out to Ricky.
Ricky, man. And he showed it to everybody. And it spread like fire around the whole school. Everybody knew I could sing now. So, but the only, not so fun thing was because back then, humble beginnings, I would shoot in the bathroom because that's where the acoustics were good. And then the shower curtain was like a backdrop. You can change that every day.
You see a lot of old YouTube singing videos in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's where we all start, man. And then, so people at school started calling me bathroom girl because I would sing in the bathroom.
Wait, this is at Kamehameha?
At Kamehameha.
Okay, at Kamehameha. Okay,
so because of that, people started finding out I could sing. Then I would get opportunities like, oh, can you sing for this event or this? And then my confidence started growing. So by the time at the end of high school graduation, I got selected for some scholarships to keep pursuing music for college.
Oh, right on.
So that's why I ended up deciding, okay, I'm going to study music.
Did you want to leave somewhere else, or you knew you wanted to stay here and go to Manoa?
Ooh, that's a big one for me. My biggest, I wouldn't say regret, but driving force now is, I always wondered, man, what would it have been like if I just went full throttle, just jumped off and just tried to see, like, let me try out for Juilliard or let me try out for, USC or Berkeley and all that kind of stuff. But I never did. I was too scared. So my goal now with pursuing music, I'm trying to do everything I can so that I can one day make a Juilliard here in Hawaii.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
we have a lot of talent here.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We really do. And that's why, like, I don't, because I used to be, kind of ashamed, like, oh, yeah, no, I never went away for school. I just studied. But like you said, we have so much talent out here and so many connections that we can utilize to create an institution that can be something world renowned too. Like,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is really awesome. You were at UH when I was at UH. I don't think we ever crossed paths.
Really?
Yeah, I was there from 2011, 2012 to about 2016. I was there for 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, you were 5 years.
Yeah,
I was there 2016.
Wow, that's crazy. I don't think we ever crossed paths.
But then again, the music department is all the way at the beginning.
Oh, maybe that's
by
why.
Sinclair, across the street, and it's far away from everything. So I spent most of my time there, and then very rarely would I be like on like Campus Center.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was my spot. I'd always go to the computer lab and just sleep during or between classes.
Yes.
Or go on Tumblr. Remember Tumblr?
Tumblr.
Yeah,
I remember you were Tumblr famous, right?
I wasn't Tumblr famous. I had a couple of videos that went kind of viral, like my videos of me and my friend sing. I wrote a song and he sang.
I remember you telling me about that.
It's called The Girl I Never Met. You guys can check it out.
Go check it
out.
Check
it out on YouTube. Yeah, that was a video that was shared a lot. And then I had some videos where we would record what we're doing in the summer and jumping off cliffs and whatnot.
Oh, cool.
I want to claim this here on the podcast. I think we were one of the first people that were doing that in Hawaii. Just like those, the adventure videos.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we were some of the first people doing it.
I'm sure they checked out those Tumblr videos, got inspiration subliminally from you guys.
You know what's crazy?
What?
So this is a cool story. My friends, my Hilo friends, they're my best friends. Mm-hmm. They went to Colorado after, a few of them.
Okay.
They went to Colorado after, and they lived in Fort Collins. And then they made this one friend, Austin. Shout out to Austin. He's in Colorado. He actually met them somehow, and he was telling them about this video he saw on Tumblr a long time ago where these like kids jumping off waterfalls and everything, and then he showed it to them, and my friends were like, "Oh, hey, that's us. That's us." And yeah, so it's crazy how what a small world that is. Yeah. Oh, also another crazy story about them in Colorado. I studied abroad in Argentina.
No way.
One of my last semesters at UH. So I hung out with this guy, Steve, and he's from Colorado. So I think maybe a month after I got back, or I don't know how long it was after I got back.
Right.
My friends, they're standing in line to get into a bar in Colorado.
Okay.
I get a FaceTime from my friend Steven or Chad. And on the FaceTime they're with my friend Steve in that I studied abroad in Argentina.
Oh, what?
And they're like, yo, what's up? And I guess what happened was they were just standing in line, and I guess Steve heard that they're from Hawaii. Or he asked them like, oh,
and then you
and
guys
he's like,
were all
oh yeah.
connected.
He's like, do you know Kamaka?
That's crazy. Of all
he's
the
like,
Kamakas,
I know, right? And he's like, no, do we know Kamaka? That's our best friend.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy.
The world is
right?
small. Yeah. That's crazy awesome.
But it's funny, but 5 years in at UH, I never saw you around.
I know.
But I think I probably saw videos of you on YouTube.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always funny, even to this day, because those videos are like, what, 2018? They're like 2007? My math sucks. What is that?
You started posting in 2007.
Yeah.
Well, that's only 2 years after YouTube was started. That's pretty early.
Yeah, so super
Okay.
early, 2008.
Yeah. I didn't
And-
start posting till like 2010, 2011 maybe.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the video's pixelated, very old,
Yeah.
kind of looking. So yeah, I think the videos are like 12, or maybe 2009, 10. Probably around the same time as you.
Did you have any viral videos?
I did.
Yeah.
So I had a viral video of me singing. I don't know if you remember the song "Big Deal." It was the first song that
by
Anu
Anu
hit. Yeah. But I don't know if you know, but I'm kind of big deal. So yeah, that was the first video I ever made. The one that Ricky probably went and sent to everybody, and then it blew up. And so I was a big deal bathroom girl.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then cool story now is, like she's been a big inspiration when I first started, and she saw that video back then, and she's like, so awesome, girly, keep doing your thing. And, I see her in passing now, and, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was your idol.
Yeah.
So who are some people you looked up to at that time? Some of your heroes?
My heroes, Anuhea for sure. I love that she was, female. She could play guitar. That was a big thing for me back then. Singer-songwriter, I think, was huge around that time, around the YouTube early days.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Kina Granis.
Kina Granis was another one.
She's one of my top favorites ever.
Yeah, so her too was one of the first videos I did, Kina Granis. Even a lot of the Filipino singer-songwriters, AJ Raphael, Gabe Bondoc, Passion, Jeremy Passion.
Yeah.
And crazy too. Those
Man,
guys.
we're getting these flashbacks.
Right?
Those are some good times.
And then it's so crazy. 10 years later, I'm friends with those guys on Instagram, and we
crazy.
talk to each other.
AJ, I really liked AJ. He had a cool style.
Yeah, I'm actually planning for his wedding coming up.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool. We'll talk about
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
I got to talk about your viral TikTok
Oh,
video.
man.
But yeah, I want to know who else you looked up
Yeah,
to.
but a lot of the female artists like Anuhea, Kimie, and then the singer-songwriter. So Kina Granis was a big one. Corinne Bailey Ray at that time too. And Justin Young, though, I would say was my biggest influence with music style and just overall what he kind of represented. Yeah.
And you just did a cover of his song,
I just
right?
did.
That was a really good one.
Yeah.
Well, what's the name of that song?
1 Foot on Sand.
It's classic. Yeah.
And Kobe
LA.
Kelly, yeah, she was a big one too.
Yeah.
And so it was cool because back then at the time they were together, and that was a big thing for me because I loved Kobe Kelly. Justin Young, grew up listening to his music. Then when I found out that he left Hawaii to go pursue music in LA, and then he got connected with Kobe and was on tour with her, I was like, oh my gosh, that was another inspiration for me. Wow, if he can do it, I can totally do it then. So that's what really kept me going and inspired me to keep trying.
That's all it takes, right? It's just to see somebody that's like you, somebody from the same place you are, just to inspire you and push you to get to that next level,
Definitely.
right?
Representation is huge, in everything, It can be the catalyst for people to change their mindset, for people to be like, hey, you know what? That person did it. Maybe I can do it too, rather than, so I'm all about that. And it took me a while to get into that mentality of I gotta stand proud of what I do. Of course, be humble and stuff too, but there's people, it's so weird that I'm in that age now where I'm potentially could be that representation for someone 10 years younger than me.
That's why you're on this podcast.
Hey, thank you. But yeah.
That's cool. Hey, always keep 1 foot on the sand, yeah?
Yep.
Other hand, Heineken.
Hey. 1 foot on 10. I remember that one. I don't drink Heineken.
Yeah. I don't drink at all, but I'll recycle.
There you go.
Give me a green bottle. I'll recycle that all day.
Right, in your new truck, yeah?
Yeah, it's a hybrid.
There you go.
Classic. So let's talk about your viral TikTok video, because you were kind of big. I would say, I think when I met you, you had maybe like 10,000 followers on Instagram. And I'm just basing it off of Instagram.
Yes, in fact, yeah. Because then before the shutdown and all the craziness, I remember I was stuck under 10 and I wanted 10K followers for a long time, because before Instagram kept changing everything, the swipe up feature was huge. Yeah. And so I was stuck. And then because of pandemic and like I kept going and started doing live streaming stuff, making it all fancy, I ended up getting to 10K. So yeah, right before everything kind of took off, I was at like 10.
Yeah, that's one kind of cool thing about the pandemic is that it brought a lot of cool things. You know, there are a lot of blessings, even though the pandemic sucks.
It did. Yeah,
we've been in this for 2 years. You know, it seems like we're kind of getting out of it slowly. But yeah, it really just sucked for a lot of people. But there were a lot of businesses, entrepreneurs, a lot of cool things that came out of the pandemic. I just wanna. I hope people remember that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they hold on to that. There was a lot of positive things.
A lot of positive things too, and it helped. I was talking to someone the other day about how it really, especially for like entrepreneurs or people that, you know, it really showed like who is serious about what they do and who isn't, you know, and it's hard, you know, for all of us. We all went through a big unknown and just there's so much heaviness, but I came out of it way stronger, and I don't regret what happened, because a lot of what I do now is because of what I did then. So.
That's awesome. Same with Hawaiiverse. We started during the pandemic.
No
and
way,
here we are.
baby.
Here we're on a podcast. I'm talking with you.
There we go.
Talking with amazing local
drinking
guests.
Our
Drinking
Shaka tea.
Shout out to Shaka Tea. I actually connected with them during my race to 50K. They got a great crew over there, so
nice.
Love them. But yeah, so we had the propeller live. All of that, we connected, and then it was so cool just watching your journey and your growth. And then I just remember seeing this video. You were at a wedding of these famous people, Don Benjamin and Leanne V. And I'm not on TikTok, but I think you shared the video on Instagram, right?
Instagram, yeah.
That's when I saw, and I was like, oh, this is getting a lot of views and everything, right? So tell us what happened. Like,
okay, the story, man, I have so many inspirational stories, man. So that one.
But that one is just like I think you gained like 20,000 followers from that.
Yeah, I'm almost at like 30 right now. It's pretty crazy.
It was crazy.
So crazy. And so the story with that was, you know, my TikTok game sucked for the longest time. It still kind of sucks, not gonna lie. But
hey, your IG game is good. I love the lives that you do.
Thank you. Yeah, my attention's over there. I kind of do both. Yeah, but TikTok, man. I'm really big on writing down your goals, like writing down what you want to do. And so I look at it, it helps me to stay in that right direction. But for me, the longest time I was like, okay, I got to get on TikTok because everybody's on it. And at first I was like, I'm too old for this. I'm like, you know.
Right.
But I had to
That's why I wasn't on it, because I'm just like, everybody is so young.
It's a little strange, like not going to lie, some of the stuff but I was like, hey, you know what? This is the direction. I got to go with the change. So I was like, hey. But I couldn't get past like 80 people following me for the longest time. But the thing was, so I started doing weddings because, you know, the gigs, things started opening up again. Weddings started coming back, and that was something I wanted to kind of put my focus on. So something I wrote down was more weddings.
And that's like after a year into the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
About
2021, the summertime. But then again, things kept opening, and then they're like, no, let's close it again.
Yeah,
so it was so hard. But at the time, I was like, okay, more weddings. That's a big goal of mine. Wrote it down, would look at it all the time. And then I had one wedding, my first wedding in a year and a half. And so it was one of my friends asked me if I could help. He's another artist. He's like, hey, they're looking for another artist. I thought of you. So I'm sure, like, shoots, bro, I can do it. I just have to cover one of my gigs at this other place. And he's like, okay. So I called I play at Moani out in Kapolei too. And so I had to call Micah. Shout out to Moani and the family over there. They are awesome. They really provide. The Keilana are awesome, and they give such a great space for musicians and arts and stuff. But I remember calling Micah. I'm like, hey, Micah, I have a wedding. Sorry, can I have someone cover? he's like, oh, what time you Paul? I'm like, oh, like 7. He's like, oh, can you come right after? I was like, oh man, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. I got a big day. The wedding was down in Keilana, and I think there was just a little bit of miscommunication, which wasn't, a bad thing, but I show up super stoked, first wedding. And then I go up to the MC. I'm like, hi, checking in. Like, and then he looks at the paper. He's like, oh, you're not on here. And I was like, what? Am I at like the wrong place? But then I see my friend. He's playing. I'm like, oh, no. Like, he told me. He's like, oh, we're like kind of behind schedule. So like, I don't think we even have time to have you play. And I'm like, oh, man. Like, what do I do? I already like tried to accommodate everything. But then the MC was like, you know what? If you want, you can try and fit in like 2 songs, but you're going to have to be quick. And I could tell I was getting a little bit frustrated, like, man. Yeah. But I had to, like, just let it go, put it aside, like, put my ego aside. I'm like, okay, let me just do that. Just because I said I was going to be here, I'm going to do it. So I played one song, and it was Best Part by her, because that was a request from the bride. And then somebody at that wedding ended up sending a video of me singing that to Leanne V. Oh, wow. And
is she from Hawaii?
She has like ties, I think, and connections, but I think she's from
she's
from
like a model,
California. She got really viral on like I think it was Musically right before TikTok, okay. And but yeah, she's an influencer, model, kind of does it all kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, someone was at that wedding, sent the video to her, and then a few days later, I get a call, and I do want to say thank you to Jez because Jez Feria was the one that sent her the video. Wow. He was the wedding planner for her wedding. And she told Jez, like, I want someone to sing me down the aisle. Do you have anyone in mind? And so thankfully he was at that one. And so she saw it. She loved it. And then I was playing at her wedding and I found out it was a celebrity wedding. And all of the guests there were like, had millions of followers on everything. They were like CEOs of things. I think J-Lo's ex-boyfriend was like there. Crazy. Tank, who's like this really big R&B singer. He actually like sang background vocals for Aaliyah. Mm-hmm. So he was huge. Just a lot of people. And I was like, whew, okay, this is a big one. Better like make it or break it.
I'm getting nervous for you.
So I was like, hey, don't let them know I'm like kind of starstruck right now. I'm just like, I'm here. I belong here. So I was vibing, doing my thing at that wedding.
And this is like end of 2021? When was
summer?
This?
Like
Summer 2021.
Yeah, summer 2021, August.
Okay.
A week after that other wedding. Mm-hmm. And then something told me, hey, like, you should have like a signs just in case if they're like digging in, they want to know what your IG is. So I ran to Target and I got one of those letter boards so I could put like my name and stuff. And then I was doing my thing and then one of the people came up to me and he was like, oh, I love you. He started singing along with me and then he whipped out his phone. I was like, oh my gosh. Soon to find out later, his IG name is Mac Daddy and he's like a huge makeup influencer and he has like 2 million followers.
Crazy.
And then he brought along his friend and then this crowd of people organically just started forming around us.
Like Waikiki style.
Yeah. Okay. And then everybody whipped out their phones. Then after that wedding, like my followers went up 10,000 and like
Tank even joined you, right?
Tank, yeah. So at first Tank was kind of being shy. He's like, no, I don't want to sing. It's her thing. But then everybody's like, come on. And it was so cool because like it wasn't like a stage thing. It was so organic. Like Mac Daddy was just enjoying it. Someone else came. Then they were like, Tank, come on. Yeah. Like gassing him up, like, come sing with her. And then he finally sang with me. And then we just started jamming together. And then, yeah, it took off. And it's been, so now, like, I can do so many weddings.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
Everybody, like.
You're busy now.
I'm super busy.
Yeah.
And I've been able to, like, focus on that. I have, like, an assistant now that helps me because it's been kind of crazy. So thank you, Shar, for everything that you do.
Well, thanks for taking time to come on the podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you could be at a wedding right now.
I really could.
I know 2 things that's for sure. When I have my wedding in the future.
Yes.
I don't even have a girlfriend, but I know at my wedding, I'm going to have an adult bouncy castle.
Okay.
And I'm going to hire you to sing at my wedding.
Got you.
I know those are the 2 things that are locked in.
Okay.
So
I'm going to remember this now.
I might have to get your rate right now before it goes higher, though.
You're right.
Can I get
fine.
grandfathered in or something?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, because if it's, you win a Grammy or, you get it even bigger, I'm not sure if I can afford that yet.
It's okay. I take care of Kanaka, and then I got you.
Kama Aina discount.
There you go.
Okay. Kamaka Aina discount.
Kamaka Aina discount.
Okay.
I love it.
Well, I was just super stoked for you because I knew you a little bit before that, and, you're a great person with an amazing voice. And a lot of times you see these local people, these local artists singing at like, I don't know, Moani's, Tiki, wherever.
Yeah.
You know, these local places, and you're like, wow, this person is so good. How are they not more famous? I always think that even when I watch certain shows or see people on YouTube, I'm like, how is this person not on the radio, super famous? What do you have to do to get to that level? Is it a lot of luck? Is it like hard work beats talent? You know, what is it?
I would say it's a culmination of everything. It's a little bit of luck, not gonna lie, but hard work beating talent is a huge thing. I think so. The top 3 things would be luck, making sure to keep practicing, honing your talent, never settle and think, I made it, and then also confidence. And so if you ever see someone with a bunch of talent that's like, you're like, how come? Like, I feel like it's one of those 3 things. It's like, maybe it's not their time yet, but, you know, it's building up. Or it might be they like where they're at. And if they like where they're at, then props to them. Or it's just a confidence thing. And I think for me, that has always been mine for a while. But I started slowly owning my power and being very proud of the things that I've done. But again, like wanting to grow. And for me, I feel like my time will come. And if it hasn't come yet, it hasn't come yet, because every time I'm like, I want to do this. Once I get there, I don't like to stay there. I like to grow. So, I think
they say like at the top of a mountain is a new peak or something.
Always,
like that, right?
yeah.
So it's just you get to the top and you can go even higher, you know, or you just fall all the way down. But it's up to you, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's really cool. I hope, you know, it just keeps going higher and higher, and you just keep leveling up.
Yeah, and like same with you, where you're gonna have, you know, your podcast, Hawaiiverse is gonna be the top of the top. Like
we got some cool announcements coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I don't think I can say it now on the podcast.
But stay tuned, guys.
Stay tuned on Instagram. We got some cool things happening. Okay. Yeah. And if anybody wants to sponsor the podcast, hit me up. Hit your boy up.
There you go.
Yeah. We'll take anything. All right. So I think we should probably hear you sing, right?
Oh, yes. I guess. Maybe.
I think it's like almost halftime performance on the Hawaiiverse podcast.
This is my practice,
little earlier than halftime, but we're talking about, you know, all this amazing talent. And now I want the listeners, if they haven't heard you, to hear how good you are.
Aww.
Yeah. And I heard you have perfect pitch, right? That's what you told me, right?
Yes.
I didn't even think that was a real thing, but I guess, what can you explain what is perfect pitch?
So perfect pitch is basically when you can distinguish what note, like if I hear that, I already know that's an A without having to look at anything or hear. I don't know if you could hear that, but and so that was a superpower, I guess I would say. I discovered about myself when I was in college, because when I was younger, I would sing along to the radio, and then even when the radio stopped, anytime I was like singing with my family, if they weren't in the key, but at the time I couldn't read music, so I didn't understand. I just knew, no, this is the way it's supposed to sound.
All just by listening.
Yeah, and so when I went to college, took music theory and oral training. My instructor helped me realize, like, oh, you know, you don't need a reference, so you have perfect pitch. So what that basically does for me in my field is if I hear a song, I already know, like, okay, the progression is F to C, blah, 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 blah. But when I first found out, I started nerding out. Anytime I would go, like, on the elevator, I'd hear it go, ding, and then I was like, oh, it's an F. Or, like, the keys for your car alarm, I started, like, I was...
Like Spider-Man discovering he can climb up walls.
Yeah, literally, that's what happened. I had that moment.
But, that's crazy.
Yeah. So.
Oh, well, that's cool. That is a superpower. I was only familiar with pitch perfect, not perfect pitch. So
yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so we're gonna get into Instagram questions right after this, but one of the Instagram question comes from Hawaiiverse, the Hawaiiverse team. Okay. They want to know, what's your favorite song to sing?
My favorite song to sing, you know, this is gonna be a self-plug. This is one of my favorite songs to sing. I do love Beyonce though, so that's usually like what I love to perform. But one of my favorite songs is a song that I wrote actually during the pandemic and during the shutdown. And it was a song called Get Up.
Oh, yeah. I was just listening to your album.
Oh, really? Yeah. So Get Up is probably one of my favorite songs, hands down, that I've written, because it there's a lot of like mana behind it, but also like significance because of the time and how I got inspired and even the process of how it all came together. So I'm gonna.
And that's what you're gonna sing right now.
I'm gonna share that one. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right. For exclusively here on the Hawaiiverse podcast, Kelana.
Yeah.
No, 2-time Nahoku Hano award winner, my friend Keilana.
There you go.
I had to correct that.
Trying to be certain in a world full of doubt. This weight, it sinks me, and it's hard to come out. But I try not letting the fear get me down. And I'll try my best to work it all out. I'm coming up. Can't get me down. My favorite part. I'm gonna be free of all my worries, free of all these doubts. I'm tired of asking questions, needing it all figured out. But rest your head, little darling, it'll work out. It ain't about the place you've been, but it's all about how you get out. Gonna be free of all my worries, free of all these doubts. I'm tired of asking questions, needing it all figured out. Rest your head, little darling, oh, it'll work out. It ain't about the place you've been, but it's all about how you get out.
That was my 2-time Nahoku Hano award winner, friend Kelana. No big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah. Amazing.
Thank you.
That is so good. Every time I have these performances on the podcast, I always forget we're still recording a podcast. I just want to,
remember,
bad boy out and okay, focus. We got listeners. Yeah. Oh wow, your voice is so good.
Thank you.
It's so good. Top voices I've heard, and not even. I watch a lot of Voice.
Oh, you do.
So I hear a lot of good singers, but I really think super biased, of course, but even objectively, it's a very good voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, and your lyrics are good as well. I'm a big lyric guy. So I really like that. My top songs are Cotton Candy Feelings.
Oh,
I really like that one.
Thank you.
And that one, and I think it's called Scared.
Scared, yeah.
Scared. I really like that one. Yeah.
Wow.
You got a bunch of other good ones, but Baby I Do.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Yeah, so go check it out. Album I Am. It's on Spotify. Yeah. What was writing that? We'll get into Instagram questions, but what was writing that album like, and producing it, everything? How long did it take?
So I started writing songs. All of these, kind of like you, I started writing in journal. I love just writing. But never thought I would bring them to life. But around 2018, I told myself, okay, let me just put out one song. So Cotton Candy Feelings was the first song I worked on. And then once I figured out, oh man, this is so much fun, I want to keep it going. It took me, about 2 years to finish and complete the project because something in me just didn't feel like, okay, it's ready yet. Because a lot of the songs were, of course, like my old journal entries and talking about things that I struggled with, relationship kind of things and all that.
Is that how you get your inspiration, just personal stuff?
Yeah, through personal things or even things around me. The song I just sang was kind of about me, but also my best friend, Sherelle. We were just talking about how worried we were during the pandemic. Like, what do we do? I was out of work because if I can't go, if the places are shut down, I have no place to play. Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? I picked the wrong field. I should have been a doctor. Dang. But
no, I think you picked the right field.
Thanks. But the thing that Sherelle told me, I was crying to her, and she's like, I just want you to rest your pretty little head. So that's in the chorus. She's like, just rest your pretty little head and focus on getting up tomorrow morning. That's all you got to worry about. Everything else, we'll figure it out when it comes. And then I woke up, not going to lie, and then I could hear that progression and her words, and that's kind of how I finished that song. And so that was the first song on the album that wasn't relationship involved or anything like that. It was like an ounce of hope, and that was something I wanted to make sure to have on my album, my very first album, because I didn't want to be kind of painted as, you know, these are the things that happened to me, and like kind of like a victim mentality kind of thing. I wanted to showcase the ebb and flow and the growth of, you know, even though all this kind of stuff that happened to me sucked, I am hopeful for the future and things will get better. And then from Get Up, a lot of other positive songs kind of started. Baby I Do was another one, and some other ones. And I felt like, okay, this project is perfect. It's ready. And I'm no longer like, oh, people are going to kind of feel like, oh, she's just like an adult. She just writes about her heartbreak. Like, no, it's about my journey, my growth, and me owning my struggle and being able to say, like, I came out on the top of this, all of this, and I wouldn't change anything. So
that's awesome. I think when you listen to the album, it's a really uplifting album, and it's very positive. The songs are very upbeat and soulful. Yeah, it's very easy to just connect with them.
Thank you.
I really enjoy them.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so we'll get into Instagram questions.
Okay.
Thick X Daddy X Saf. That's my friend Cody. He wants to know favorite genre of music to sing.
Favorite genre of music to sing would actually be jazz. I love jazz. Okay. It's nostalgic to me because it makes me think of my grandpa, and he's the one, my grandpa on my dad's side was the musical one. And unfortunately he passed before he could actually see my talents grow. So that's my connection to him. So whenever I get to sing like jazz music, it kind of makes me feel good. It's like my guilty pleasure, but I love all kind of music. So yeah, but I would say jazz has a special place for me.
Awesome. And I'm sure your grandpa's so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think I lost my grandpa when I was in Madagascar. It was like my first immediate family member. I had surgery. I had appendicitis. I had to get my appendix removed, and a week later I get a text or something saying my grandpa passed away.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's like, it kind of sucks because you're just like, this is a very crucial part of your life, right? And you're just like, you want them to see like the person you became, right? Or you're going to become. Right. And so it's like, yeah, I know it's not easy, but yeah, it's cool. We do it for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we carry their legacy with us. Awesome. Okay, and then Hawaiiverse, we already did that. Somebody, I don't know who this is. It's a random person. P Funk Love. I don't know. Somebody named Paula Funga.
That is the queen of Hawaii. What you talking about?
Never heard of her. Just kidding. We love you, Paula.
We love Paula.
Yeah. She wants to know, what's the most important lesson you've ever learned?
The most important lesson I've ever learned is you control your thoughts. You control your destiny. Of course, I am a very faith-driven person, but a big thing for me is to not let your struggles overcome you. Like, let them be the beacon of light and hope to you becoming something more than it. So anytime I've kind of had to go through a hardship, it's easy for us to feel like, oh, well, this is all I can do. This is the only reason. But I definitely like having a growth mindset, being open to change. Such a big one for me. It's so hard. But I would say that that's kind of the biggest lesson I've ever had to learn is you are your thoughts. So if you only believe that you can do this, or if you believe, oh, if this person, I cannot because I'm not that person, you're giving power to someone else. So like when you bring the power inwards and you move with love and aloha, then you can go far.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm going to put this clip on Instagram. Yeah. That's a great answer.
Thank you for the answer, Paula.
Yeah, the question.
Oh, yeah, for the question.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm a huge believer of the power of the mind. I believe, just having a strong having a strong mindset is like the most important thing.
Yeah.
That'll get you through everything.
Even with you, like your race to 50K, that's a prime example. Like someone could look at the big amount of debt and be like, man, I'm never going to be able to because blah, blah, blah,
Victim
blah.
mindset.
Yeah, but you're like, hey, you know what? That number, I'm going to tackle that and I'm going to crush that number. I'm going to do whatever I need to.
Yep, I said I'm going to tackle this. I'm going to work hard every single day. I'm going to pay off my student loans and then be super burnt out for about 6 months after that. That's exactly what I said.
I feel that on a personal level. Man.
Yeah. One more question, then we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But Kavika_Kihara wants to know. Oh, you know who that is?
Yes, on Instagram.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's cool when you have certain people that follow you for a while and they're super supportive.
Right.
I have some people like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that. He wants to know what's next.
What's next? I've learned that it's great to have goals and visions of where you want to go, but to be open to whatever happens. Because oftentimes I get so tunnel vision. I'm like, I gotta stay there. I gotta get there. I don't even focus on like what's around me and like the process to get there. So many times in my past already where I've been like, I want to do this, and all I focus on is I gotta get there. And then when I get there, I'm like, I don't even know how to enjoy it. So like I would say, what's next? I have no idea what's next, but what I do know is I want to continue sharing my story, sharing music, connecting with people, and whatever happens, that gives me more of an opportunity to do it, then why not? I will say that I do want to have a Grammy one of these days, maybe in the next 5 years, maybe 3 years. We'll cut it so that it, put the pressure on that. New music for sure. I'm working on that. And also some big life things too. Like moving into my own like place for the first time.
Congrats.
Kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's been
it's nice to have your own place.
It is. Yeah, it is. So a lot of good things. I'm also working with the Lili'uo Kalani Trust. Yeah, they're putting together a music program, and so I'm going to be a part of that.
Right
so if there's any young Opio, the ages, high school age, if you want to learn about the arts and do a 2-week course with me, and we also have Liam Moleta.
Oh, yeah.
Liam.
He's awesome.
And
Isaac.
Isaac.
He's a Propeller Live
Yeah,
singer.
he was. And Isaac, we're going to be kind of a la carte for this program. So it should be fun. If anyone has anyone in mind, you can check out their website. I think it's, I don't know what their website is, but it's like Lili'uo Kalani Trust. Just go look it up and you can find it. Or go to my Instagram. You can find it in my link in bio.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always good to have goals, but not be super set
in them,
on the future, and always be flexible, open-minded, and be able to, kind of, Yancy Medeiros, he said on the podcast, don't go with the flow, you flow with the goal.
Ooh, flow with the goal.
You just gotta flow with the goal,
I like
Because if you just go with the flow, you just,
You can just coast around everywhere.
But when you flow with the goal.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's something I always, think about. Yeah. All right, so... Okay, this is an important issue, and I'm sure we both been through this stuff, and I'm happy that we can talk about it. Is mental health, especially when with more fame comes more busyness and more responsibility, obligations, and not even with just fame, anything in life. You don't have to be a famous person to go through mental health issues, right?
We all got issues.
Yeah, we all got issues, and people on social media, it's a highlight reel. You show the best parts of your life. Yeah. Not a lot of people, show, oh, I just had a terrible day today. Yeah. I just, hey guys, I just finished crying in the mirror. How's it going? With makeup running down their face. Nobody really does that, But we all struggle with it.
We do.
Yeah. So did you have any times where it was really hard to get through, and how did you get through them?
Yeah. I've always kind of struggled with mental health, I guess, or just being open about my struggles or letting people in and being vulnerable. Vulnerability is something that has, in the last few years, I feel like nobody wants to show their vulnerability, but I see the power in vulnerability because now there's so much of a wall put up with social media, like you said, highlight reel. Nobody wants to show when they're struggling or when, everybody only wants to show people when they're on, when things are good, or when they have that new thing, that bright new shiny toy or whatever.
The new hybrid truck.
The new hybrid truck. But I can see like again, social media has its greats, and its pluses and good things that come from it. But also a thing that I think is a realistic thing is, if all you see, if we're so consumed in our phones nowadays and all we see is a highlight reel, we start to question ourselves, and we're like, oh my gosh, is my life even, significant? Because I'm not doing this as much as this person and this other person. And so it's so important now. Mental health is huge because, we can't fall into the trap of, just because you see everything picture perfect on your phone doesn't mean that whatever you're going through or struggling offline is like not normal. Everybody's struggling. And I think the important thing for me is, as an artist, or even just an advocate for mental health, is to not be shamed. Like, I'm gonna let you guys know I'm kind of struggling. At first it was kind of awkward to like post a little bit about me, like kind of crying or talking about what I'm struggling with. But the cool thing with me being open, not being shamed and scared, is people step out and they like tell me, oh, thank you for letting me know about that. I'm struggling with that too, not gonna lie, and it's hard, and then that brings connection. It harbors connectivity, and I think that's the only way for us as humans to survive, is if we feel connected to each other, not stagnant, not disconnected. That's the only way that we can work together. And so that's why mental health, it's important. We all struggling, and you never know if the person next to you is going through something. So always like move again with aloha and kindness. And
exactly. That's beautiful. I agree with all of that, and I think sharing and being open about these things, it really draws other people, and it helps people. It inspires people to share their story and be open about it too. I think that was one of the coolest thing about my Race to 50K, is that I was transparent about everything. Every dollar I made, every dollar I didn't make, or whatever, everything I spent, and basically my whole life. Even though I feel like I showed my whole entire life, there's still a lot that people don't see.
Right.
Like I would say, like, I'm so tired, I'm burnt out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this.
There's a you shouldn't share everything with people, but definitely don't feel like you can't. And I feel like for you too, you sharing every dollar, or sharing like, oh, guys, today wasn't really a good day, you're struggling with that. It's so much easier to just be you, because when you only put up the highlight reel, especially when you're going through it or you're not succeeding or getting, like you can fall into that big depression. But like being transparent, being you, and real makes it so much easier to just enjoy life.
It's nice when you get those messages like, oh, I relate to you.
Yes.
I thank you for sharing this because I'm going through something similar. And it's very empowering. Then it makes us more comfortable sharing these things because you realize you're not alone. Because a lot of times people don't like to share things because they think they're going to be judged. They're going to be outcasted for this. But, the one thing that brings us all together is shared trauma.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
That's basically what Peace Corps was, we're all going through the same thing as the other Peace Corps volunteers: isolation, loneliness, struggles teaching classes, all these things. And when you talk with each other and you're like, oh, you're also struggling with that, you become best friends and you get even closer like that. Yeah. So that's why it's cool to talk about it, and especially online on the podcast, everything, and especially somebody who has some fame and recognition.
Yeah.
So that's why I respect people that do that. So keep doing that. Keep doing it. And if people have any issues, just know you're not alone.
You're not alone.
We're all going through it. It's like you could think everything's picture perfect, but it's not. The perfect picture isn't actually perfect.
Exactly.
It just, that's how it seems sometimes. Yeah. So do you have any coping mechanisms? Well, what are your coping mechanisms?
My coping mechanisms. I'm not perfect for sure, but I try to encourage and really try to have like good positive coping mechanisms. So positive ones, like for me, have been journaling. I used to feel like kind of silly about it before, but it's helped me to harbor so much growth with like my mental health. And but I kind of like to talk to myself, like with myself. So what I'll do sometimes, especially when I can feel like overwhelmed with stress or like something heavy burdening me, I actually put up my camera or my phone, and then I prop it, and then I just share, and I talk to myself. I cry, I let it out. It looks all, sometimes it's ugly, but and then I just let it out, and then it feels better because I'm able to, and also it's a controlled space because sometimes you go talk to your friend, and then that friend like, oh, you know, blah, 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 and they don't like help you feel better. So for me, I know like I can make myself feel better. Yeah. So after I do that, then, and I don't post it, it's all for me. But then, and it's kind of similar to journaling because you're just letting everything out. But for me, I'm a very like hands-on physical person. I like to see eye contact is important. So I cry to myself, and then after I finish, I let it all out, feel a little bit better. And then either immediately or later on, I watch it. So that way I know how I was feeling. I can recognize, okay, so that's what, you know, and I try to be my friend for me.
That's good. Your own best friend.
My own best friend. Everybody, but it's good to have friends too, though. But yeah, be your own best friend too.
Well, I got like 5 friends. I don't need any more.
Oh, okay, yeah. Exclusive.
I'm that kind of guy. Nah, just joking. I got love for everybody.
But yeah, I would say that being out in nature, one thing I really love to do is when I'm struggling or stressed, have a beach day. I love watching the sunsets from the beach, so I'll usually just go take a drive by myself. And
one of the blessings we have living here in Hawaii.
Yeah, if I were to ever move away, I would be so sad, which I'm probably not, but yeah.
That's good. Those are really good things. I think having great coping mechanisms so important, whether that's, you know, relieving stress by going for a run, playing sports, just talking to somebody, getting lunch and just venting to somebody, having somebody to listen to you, or recording yourself and having yourself listen to yourself.
But I also,
that's next level right there.
Right. And then, of course, as a musician and as an artist, a lot of my stress or what I'm going through, I'll write it and create a song from it. And then that's like, turning my lemons into the best lemonade ever. Yeah.
So. And that's cool that, as a creative, that you can, you know, take this hardship or whatever you're going through and turn that into inspiration for a poem, a song, a movie, whatever it is, a book. Yeah. A book. It was interesting when I was growing up, I would always write poetry, and not like, I always feel weird saying poetry because I really just like rhyming, but I'm not a rapper, you know? So I'm not like the crescent moon was illuminating on the beautiful lake. I don't write stuff like that, you know. I'm more just like I like the rhymes, and I would always write stuff about other people. I was very closed off. Like I didn't really like being emotional. I don't know if it's just a guy thing or it's just me personally. I don't really like to share my personal life. Now I'm like super open about it, you know. And that just comes when you grow up, right? When you mature and you see other people doing that, and you're like, okay, maybe it's okay. But yeah, I'd always write stuff about other people, like relationships. I was never really in relationships growing up. I just always focused on myself doing things, and I would write things like, you think like about like I'm in a relationship, like somebody hurt me, or you know, and I'm like, no, I recognize this from all my friends and like their relationship. Then I write about it, or I talk to people, and so I would always write from the perspective of
someone
them.
else,
But it was never about me. So I don't think until I was in my 20s or maybe after I went to Madagascar, I became more open and started writing stuff about myself.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's interesting how that kind of evolves, or you know, everybody's different. Yeah, so that's just something that I've never felt comfortable writing about myself, even being open with myself. So like I would never record a video of myself crying.
It took a while for me too, and I don't want anyone to ever see them because but
do you delete them after?
Sometimes if they're like really things that I'm struggling with, I actually have an album called Growth, and then I'll like watch it over the year, and then I'll delete them after the year. Yeah, that's
cool. But yeah, even like just putting this out here on the podcast, just having a good cry, it's good. You don't have to be ashamed.
You cry?
I've cried. I don't like cry often, you know. I mean, like if something's like tears of joy, but if something's happening, like I remember I cried when my grandpa passed away, and you know, you don't want to cry in front of people, but sometimes it's just like this feeling, it just builds up, right? And you just have to let that out.
It's a release.
Yeah, after we finished our practicum and we were done, we were having a party. I don't think I told anybody this, but. So we finished our 3 months of training, and you know, I had my surgery. I had my grandpa pass away, and that was during practicum where we had to start teaching the classes. So I had to catch up and do like 2 a day. And so we finally finished that. we're in the food area, like the cafeteria, just like celebrating.
Yeah.
And I just went to the lake down by the training center,
Yeah.
put on headphones, listen to the song Grandpa. You know that song?
Grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just started crying.
Oh.
Yeah. And
But it felt good.
Yeah,
After,
yeah. And then, there's some other moments in my life where, you cry, whether that be out of happiness. I cried a little bit when I paid off my last student loan.
I would
It's like,
too, man.
all that hard work you put in, and like it's finally coming to an end, getting that one thing you always wanted. Like I cried when I got into the Peace Corps, when I found out I got into the Peace Corps.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think we should normalize crying. It's
Right.
not, especially as men.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
it's a normal human thing. We are only human. Yeah.
And it's so important too, like you said, like with your struggles and stuff, or even like happy tears, being able to just let that release. It's so therapeutic. And I really feel like when you hold in your emotions and you don't give yourself that good cry, you turn rock hard and solid, and like you harden up yourself.
Yeah.
And then that's where like I feel like hate or like jealousy and all those negative things are harbored from. But when you give yourself that space to release, it opens you up for, love and the positive things that you can give that everybody needs. And so that's why I let out a cry, so you can be a good person and then help the other person that's struggling, and there you go.
Yeah, and it's this chain reaction where
exactly.
we're all helping each other, alohaing one another. Yeah, that's awesome. This is an awesome conversation piece. I'm hoping somebody's crying listening to this.
We're crying with you. You're not alone.
Yeah. I'm holding it in so hard right now. I want to cry so bad. Let's go cry after this.
Okay, let's go.
I'll go into the men's bathroom, you go into the women's, and we'll just look at ourselves crying. You ever cried in the shower?
Always. That's the best time.
It's the best because you...
And then nobody...
you don't even know you're crying.
You don't even know. It blends in with everything else.
Have you ever cried driving?
Always. I mean, not always.
Always. Every Friday.
Every Friday. After the busy work week, I gotta let it out. Yeah, I would say I think I've cried most times in my car on my way to something or from something. And before, having my own place, was in my car because that was my own area.
Yeah, you don't want to...
I don't want to let everybody know. Yeah, and then everybody, what's going on? Why? How come what's going on? No, I don't like tell you. I'm just going through it. I need to just go through it. Yeah.
What about let's see. So what's some good
crying movies?
Movies?
Yeah, I'm like honestly, I'm emotional.
Sad movies.
Happy movies. I cry so easy.
Yeah.
So I'm opposite of you.
I think the first movie I ever cried was Marley and Me.
Marley and Me?
Yeah.
Really?
When the dog died.
I'll be honest, I don't think I watched it.
It's like...
It's the one about the dog,
I don't know, over 10 years ago.
Over 10 years.
Yeah, I would think I was still kind of young, maybe early high school. But yeah, not like a bad cry, but just like, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Coco?
Yes, that's good.
That one I think was what?
Yeah, that's a great movie. I love it.
That one was probably the biggest sob I had. Yeah. Just because when you find out, plot twist, sorry, spoiler, that's the grandpa he's been hanging out with the whole time when he thought the other guy was his grandpa. And the only way to help the grandma in the living world, like still remember, he has to, put his picture back on the thing and it's almost too late. Yeah. But then he starts singing the song and then the grandma remembers, oh my gosh, crying.
I know a lot of people did cry. My sister cried during that.
Yeah, me and my sisters, we all went. My baby sister, Keilana, we were leaving already. She's still sobbing. And I was like, girl, you okay? She's like, I don't know why I'm so emotional still.
Yeah.
But so that was probably the last.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get choked up a lot during movies, like, when Tony Stark died in Avengers.
Man, that was another big one too.
Or certain like happy endings.
Yeah, happy endings.
In certain movies where like they get the girl or the guy or whatever.
So I think it's important, like balance. Like a lot of people, like for me, I gotta kind of not cry all the time, so balance is key to life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you ever cried during a performance?
Yes,
because sometimes you get emotional and like you're singing a song that's like say about your grandpa.
Yeah, I've had many moments
on stage.
Yeah, many moments. But then I tried to like hold it in. Like there's been times where I just like got broken up with or went through a breakup. I gotta go to my gig and I just I just gotta keep going. And then people want to request like love songs. Oh. That was the worst, man. But I did it.
Sounds
I
like
held
a scene
it
from
together.
a movie right there.
It was rough. Yeah. There's been a lot of times like that, or someone comes up to me and they're like, "Hi, can you play this song?" It was a song that it reminds me of my son, and he had passed away. And then I start singing it, and I'm like, oh, I gotta hold it in. Yeah. So there's been a lot of moments, but I'm grateful for them.
Yeah. What has been your favorite moment so far in your career?
My favorite moment in my career. Oh, that's so hard, man. There's so many. But I think
let's do a rose and a thorn.
A rose and a thorn? Ooh, okay.
So good and a bad.
A good thing that has happened from my music for me, really the awards are awesome and I appreciate them. But me being able to use my music to connect with people like all over the world is really something for me that I'm like, wow. I never ever would have thought that someone in Japan would be a big fan, or Australia. Like I have a huge kind of following of people in Melbourne and Australia. And being able to travel, I love traveling and seeing the world, helps me gain a bigger perspective of life and myself. I'm like just a tiny speck on this this big rock. So, but being able to travel. So I think the biggest blessing for me has been like, I never thought that me singing would give me the opportunity to see the world. But it has. I've been able to go to Japan, thanks to Ali actually from bass.
Oh, cool.
And then I went to like Florida because of that wedding I did, the viral wedding. I have like some performances coming up on the mainland too, so I gotta go.
And they fly you up over there, pay for your hotel. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's great.
I hope to do that the same way, but I'm writing books.
That's awesome. I actually want to like one day be like a TED Talk speaker.
Oh, I'm sure you get there.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I always thought about that. Like, it'd be really cool to have a TED Talk, but I'm just like, it seems kind of intimidating.
It does.
But also
you
exciting.
can do it.
Oh, I know I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, do I actually want to do that? Like, I mean, you just have to like, I guess I'm not really a stage performer is what it is. I love talking to people. I'm not really big into crowds. I don't mind being in front of people.
Yeah.
But I guess if I was like doing a presentation, it's like a little different. So
I see.
Yeah. But I don't mind being on stage, like hosting, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm just in my head about it.
Yeah, maybe you are. We're gonna see you on a stage giving us an inspirational
I'd love to talk
talk
about my race to 50K. I think once I finish my book and that gets circulated around the world, I think I'll do a race to 50K TED Talk.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Because I do want to share the story of not just me personally, but like how the community came together and helped out this weird long hair guy, who was just dressed up as Buzz Lightyear for a kid's birthday party, doing all kind of odd jobs,
That's the best. Yeah, you gotta share that story. So if anybody listening right now has connections to get him on those platforms elsewhere around the world, hit him up.
Yeah, same for Kelana.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there?
No, sorry. And then just a thorn is just it's definitely a struggle because you kind of go against the norm or the grain of what you think. So, growing up, I thought so funny, I thought at 24 I'd be married, have a kid, have kids, my own house and all that kind of stuff. But we're nowhere near that. So, but and just being able to accept that, like my life is not gonna go the same way that like I thought it was, and just being open to the growth. It took me a while to be okay with like, because I never really wanted to really fully pursue music just because I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna prevent me from being able to have, a relationship or whatnot. But for me, now I'm just like, the right person will come when it converges, and like, I want to find someone that will compliment me, not something where I have to sacrifice. And I hope that person has their own thing so that we can parallel, like grow together.
Exactly.
So that's I guess would be a struggle.
I'm happy you said that because a lot of people think you have to find somebody that completes you.
Yeah.
But I think what it is find somebody that complements you and matches your lifestyle, your energy. I mean, it's good, sometimes opposite attracts, I'm introvert, extrovert.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I've learned that.
But yeah, it's nice when it complements each other, and you help each other be a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is dating with your lifestyle
hard?
It's really hard.
Yes.
What's so hard about it?
You have to be with someone that's comfortable and confident with themselves. Being like a musician or just being in the spotlight a lot, Like, people will get kind of like, oh, you know, well, you just have to really have trust. And sometimes it's hard to have trust when, you know, your other half isn't confident with themselves and then starts questioning, you know, oh, you know. But I just want someone that's confident with themselves. They know that we got our thing going on, but lets me go and do my own thing. Like, sometimes I have to travel and I can't bring you with me all the time. Like, I need you to know that I'm there for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So just finding someone that has that like-mindedness, that everything I'm passionate about what I do and respects my passion.
So somebody in the industry, kind of like another musician. I mean, you guys can make your own songs.
That's true. I mean, that'd be
I always
cool.
love those kind of collabs.
Yeah, those are cool. We never know. Yeah, so, but.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I always, my mindset is always, I'll do my thing, you do your thing, we come together, we do our thing.
Yeah, I want that, definitely.
Yeah.
I need, so when that happens, then that'll be great. But for now, I'm doing my thing.
Yeah,
and
you're just going with the flow.
Yeah, we're going with the flow.
See what comes up organically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How do you feel about dating apps?
I am currently not on any dating apps right now. I was on dating apps before.
Before you had like this recognition, is that something that holds you back from it?
A little bit, but at the same time.
Because you don't want people to like, oh, everybody, Keilana's on Tinder. Hinge,
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
thing,
when I was on the dating apps before, I didn't want to put my name because I was scared like people were gonna. So I would put Lana, but like really, how hard is it to like
see your face?
And then but then I would get those messages sometimes like, hey, like you're Keilana. Yeah, I'm like, do my cover already. But yeah, like I want to. I think for me, like being in, I wouldn't say I'm super in the spotlight, but yeah, being in the spotlight, like it kind of is hard. It's a struggle because you never know people's intentions. Like, do you like me for me, or do you like me because I can
as
sing?
cheesy or cliche as that sounds,
it's real. Yeah, it's a real thing. So that's why, for me right now, I'm chilling.
Okay.
I'm not on the dating apps.
Yeah, see, that's what I always worry about too. You know, it's like, oh, do you like me or do you like me for my 45 miles per gallon that I get with my
so
not lifted Yoda?
You gotta watch out.
Yeah.
Some people just want you for your car.
Yeah,
So
I mean, gas is expensive now.
it is. It's like almost $5.
Yeah, I think I just went up in like a couple points just because of that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, this is fun. It's a fun podcast here.
Yes.
We talk about everything
everything
on the Hawaiiverse podcast. What is one thing that you wish people knew about you that they don't necessarily know about you?
I would say one thing that people from the surface level don't necessarily see is I'm very driven by like the lahui, or like what I want to do as a native Hawaiian. I'm kind of taking a route that from the surface looks like, does she have any kind of like connection to, because I'm talking about how I want to make it big, or I want to reach outside of Hawaii. But my goal really is like everything I'm doing is to bring it back and provide knowledge, experience, and a place to like encourage a lot of the things that growing up I felt like, were lacking or I didn't have. So before going to Kamehameha, like I wasn't really in touch with my Hawaiian side because my grandpa was my Hawaiian connection, and he passed away before I could even like learn anything. So I always felt kind of insecure about like how much I knew, or people would ask me, "Oh, what's your name? What does it mean?" Or "Can you olalo Hawaii?" and all that kind of stuff, and it would always kind of like make me feel uncomfortable. And then when I got into Kamehameha, at first I kind of was like, oh, I don't feel like I belong here because I don't know anything, and all these kids, like they can trace their mo'oku auhau, like so many, and I can only go maybe like a couple back, and I don't know my omakua, all this kind of stuff. And so it was, identity was such a hard thing for me for a while, and I used to always feel like, oh, so, I cannot. But Kamehameha really helped me see the importance of like, we all come from different backgrounds, different ways of living, but that doesn't take away from like what I am, and I am Hawaiian. And my pathway to, creating a better life for my future generations and females, Kanaka, people in the arts is just to, again, representation, be confident in what I do and go as far as I can. And whatever knowledge I can take back, then I'll bring it back home and I'll make my Juilliard in Hawaii, you know?
Yeah.
But
Roman, come home. That's what I
Roman,
say.
come home. I like that. And so, yeah, for me, like, I decided to do R&B and singer-songwriter type of music because, you know, like, a lot of people, when I say, oh, I'm a musician, they say, oh, so do you do reggae or do you do Hawaiian? And Hawaiian. Before they used to frustrate me because I'm like, no, like I do all different kind of music. But then I realized like it's just because there's lack of representation
in these other genres.
But that doesn't mean that it's not even a bad thing that you do Hawaiian or reggae or Hawaiian. In fact, like those are the genres that Hawaii's known for, and that's awesome. And so like all that, like people got it already. We got those areas are taken care of, but R&B, singer-songwriter, even alternative, rock, whatever, there's not a lot of people doing it, and they kind of feel like not confident to do it. So we need people doing it and sticking to it and staying strong in it and being like, yeah, this is what I do. I'm proud to do it. Right. And I want to do it, and I want to see how far I can go. I want to meet her and Bruno Mars. I always tell people at my gigs, like, Bruno Mars is going to be my friend one day, everybody. So for now, this is just, you're going to hear me sing Bruno Mars right now. But yeah, I want to be able to do that so that way I can show people the ropes when I come back.
That's awesome. How do you think you can bridge the gap between something that is not very traditionally local or Hawaiian, that R&B? So something like Bruno Mars, he's what, pop?
Yeah, I would say pop.
Pop, and one thing that I noticed, like, he's from Hawaii. He doesn't really rep Hawaii,
exactly.
You know?
And so that's the one, like, thing. I love Bruno Mars, and he is one of my biggest idols.
Talented.
Super talented. I look up to him. But one thing for me that I want to do is I want to, maybe I don't know if I want to be at that level of status, but at least be able to connect there and then rep Hawaii. So that way, because when I went to his concert, that was what told me, okay, start talking big, like start thinking bigger, because he gave a spiel in his show when he was down here in 2018, and he's like, you know, for all of you young musicians or artists out there in the audience, don't think just because you're from a small island that you can't make noise that can be heard around the world. And when he said that, I was like, oh, man, yeah, that's true. If he can do it, I can do it. And so, but the only thing that sucks is he's so far away, I can't touch him, you know? And I want my audiences to be able to feel like they can connect with me on a personal level so that they can feel inspired, but then also feel like they know me, because, you know, that makes people feel more encouraged to do what they do.
Yeah. And going a little bit back to when you were saying the insecurities of being Hawaiian and being local, I think that's a big thing too. And we've talked about it on the podcast before with some other guests. Being, you know, kind of getting to the national stage where you're like, you represent Hawaii, but maybe you're not as confident in like the traditions and like stuff like that. I wonder if that's kind of how Bruno is like. It's like he loves Hawaii and all that, but maybe he's just not like, you know, somebody asks him to hula or oli, he doesn't know, you know. And I think that's even me. I went to Hawaiian immersion school all my life. Somebody asked me to do hula and oli right now, I couldn't do it.
Really?
Because I never paid attention. I didn't care about that growing up. Now I care about it more because I think it's very important. But I think I was just thinking about this today as I was driving over, like how the times are changing, and you know, we always try to look back to our kupunas and, you know, our ancestors and think like, hey, we have to be just like them. But, you know, back in the days, they didn't have what we have now. So I think there's like this modern Hawaiian, modern local, you know, kind of person. And I think that's more what I am. And like, yes, I believe in all the traditions and all this. I respect it, but you're not going to see me in a model, you know? And I get, you know, maybe one day I'll have the confidence to do that. But I just feel like I'm at a point where I accept that already, where I'm just like, I'm not going to be like King Kamehameha.
Right.
You know, but I'm going to be like Kamaka, and I'm going to live my life with these Hawaiian values, and respect these traditions and do what I can within my capabilities.
My scope of what I know, I actually exactly 100% feel the same way, and I think the same way as you. You know, I might not be able to speak fluently, but I have an understanding, I have some education, I know the background of, you know, some of the things that have happened. But I do want to push forward. I do want to be a representation of what you can do now, like with the tools around us, technology, with the talents and everything we have now. We can honor our past, but we can also build for our future. And I think that's so important that, respectfully though, finding ways to still respect and honor the traditional ways, but life keeps going on, and you have to be willing to change and grow with it. And that's a touchy one, but that's
and a lot of people listening to this could totally disagree with us. Yeah, like the more radical kind of, like very traditional, like, hey, you're Hawaiian, you olelo Hawaii, you do your olis, you do protocol, all that stuff. And I wish I could do that, but where I'm at in my life, like, I don't think that, not that it interests me, but I don't think I want to put the time in to do that with what I'm already focusing on right now. I feel like we can make a difference, and we can, be respectful and honor our lahui, our culture, in different kinds of ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're trying to do. Right. That's what I'm trying to do.
And another thing too that I look at, like the Maori people in like New Zealand, I love, how they use their language and like they transform it, and they have like pop R&B Maori music, and that's something that's kind of in the back of my mind, like maybe one day that could be a thing. But for right now, I feel like I want to really hone in on the genre that I know and that I'm cultivating, be really good at it, so that when the time comes, maybe someday, we can incorporate Olelo Hawaii, and then we'll have like
Olelo Hawaii R&B song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's cool you say that, because I can't Oli. I mean, I know some of them. If I saw the lyrics, I would remember, but I don't remember them. That's why. But what I do is I like to write poems. I like to rhyme. So I wrote a poem in Olelo Hawaii. And like that's one thing that I can do, that our ancestors didn't, I don't know, maybe they did. Maybe they had some Olelo Hawaii raps, Who knows? But I feel like, just staying in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And then, it'll happen.
Yeah. And it's gaining a little, picking up something from here and here and here, and then just becoming the best version of yourself. That's what it's all about.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That's super cool. Awesome. Well, we're coming towards the end of the podcast. Okay. Is there anything else you want to share? Something you want to talk about? Anything just weighing on your heart that the world should know?
I would just want to say, first off, mahalo. Like, thank you so much for having me be on this. In fact, like, this was something I manifested, and it was on my list for 2022. I want to be on more podcasts.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about the Hawaiiverse podcast.
Oh, and the Hawaiiverse podcast too. Sublet, I will put Hawaiiverse. But yeah, and then boom, it happened. So it's really great. I love sharing my story, not to really talk about myself, just to be able, like what we talked about, just so that people can relate and see like, oh wow, so she struggles with, her confidence, or at first she never thought she'd be a musician, but one door opened for her and she just went with it. I want people to be able to like hear my story and feel like, oh, I can do that too. Then it's not as crazy or not as hard, and it just takes a lot of work and dedication and stuff, and patience, consistency. But it's so possible. So I just want to encourage anyone out there, like if there's anything tugging on your heart, or if you always thought like, man, I would always want to try it. Just go do it. Yeah. And then even if you fail or you look silly, you're going to grow from that, because at least you know where you're at currently. Yeah. Like you probably suck at it, but work at it till you get better. And that's always been something for me. Like I honor my growth by looking back at where I was, but always constantly upping the ceiling of where I'm trying to go.
Yeah.
So
that's great. People, early 20s, our 20s, our entire 20s, that's when we have to make mistakes.
Yes.
That's when we have to fail and learn, travel, live in Bali for a year,
Did you live in Bali for a year?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. I lived in Madagascar for 3 years, but
wow.
And I studied abroad in other places. But that's the time where you have to grow and see the world. And if you have something that's risky, right now is the best
time. It's the perfect time.
When you have as little obligations as you have, and don't worry about the money. If the money will come. I believe that. But these experiences, especially gaining them at a young age, it's gonna make a world of difference for you. That's I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of money, but I have a lot of experience. I feel like I'm a 50-year-old grandpa, mentally and physically. I just pulled my groin playing soccer the other week.
Man.
Got knee problems. I separated my shoulder. A couple years ago. That always bothers me. I got wrist surgery last year.
You gotta take it easy.
I'm an old grandpa. Yeah. I look like a young boy, but I feel really old. So yeah, maybe you're smart not going into sports.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You're probably gonna feel a lot better than I will at 50 years old.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Mahalo for coming on and sharing your story and singing. I really enjoyed the song. Yeah. Maybe I'll have you on and you sing for an hour and a half.
Shoots, I'm down. Let me know.
Are there ever concerts that long, hour and a half? Like where one person is singing that long?
Yeah, there have.
You don't get tired?
No, not really.
Yeah.
If it's like 3-4 hours, oh yeah, like gigs, like long ones like that. Yeah, that one takes a toll, but hour is not bad.
Okay, cool. One more thing I want to ask you before we finish: are you trying to get out of the wedding gig thing sooner than later?
Like I said, this was a goal. I got here. I'm expanding it as much as I can, but I don't like to stay put in one area for too long because so I do love weddings, and for right now this is the chapter that I'm in, but at the same time I'm using, because with the weddings I can kind of like make more doing less, so it's allowing me to spend more time cultivating my songwriting, because when I'm doing gigs are like 3 to 4 hours, like restaurant bar gigs, so all that time, 4 hours plus an hour going into traffic and all that stuff. But at the end of the day or before that, I don't want to write songs. Like I already know I gotta. So it's been giving me more time to develop my artistry, and make another really great project for you all. So right now I love the weddings and I appreciate all the business and all the beautiful couples. Plus too, it's helping me grow mentally too, because I see all these couples and in love.
Relationship goals.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so now my standards are going up too, because I'm like, wow, he can cry. Oh, he can do that. So right now it's what I like, but I don't plan on staying a wedding singer for my whole life. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you want to go on tour and like
touring
do all of that?
Touring would be cool. Yeah. Again, I want to meet Bruno Mars, be his friend. So if you know Bruno, you better.
Maybe you can open up for him one day.
Ooh, yeah. Or I can be the third member of Silk Sonic. You never know. But that'd be
funny.
awesome.
Okay, one more thing. It just came to my mind.
Okay.
Sorry, we'll end this soon. Okay, what's your ideal man?
My ideal.
Because you're just talking about the weddings and everything.
I just want someone that has their own thing and is like, no, you know what? If anyone wants to know my ideal man, you gotta ask me. So it's a.
So can people slide into your DMs? How do you feel about that?
Oh man, the sliding into the DMs. For me, it doesn't really work. I need to see you. What if it's
like a professional basketball player or something?
Ooh. Man, I didn't know I was going to get asked relationship questions.
Put you on the spot right now.
Right, now I'm like, I didn't prepare for this.
That's only because we're friends. So I feel comfortable asking this.
Right. Well, I think for me, you can't it doesn't work if you're like just straight up, hey, I want to date you. That doesn't work. In fact, like if I see that kind of DM, I leave it in the request box and I don't answer it.
Okay, so it's just straight dick pic.
No!
Oh, okay.
No. You better not send me.
Don't do that, guys.
No doing that.
Don't do that.
I thought this was a family podcast.
But actually, don't ever do that, guys.
Please, that never works, ever.
Yeah. Why do people do that? Nobody wants to see that.
But I will bring it back and say, friendship first is such a big thing for me. So, don't just shoot your shot right away. Like, I want to, we should be cool first. And then... from there. I don't want to rush anything, you know?
It's flowing with the goal.
And then eventually someone can ask me that question later. What does it look like? But for now, it's a mystery.
All right.
It's a mystery, yeah.
Awesome. Well, just follow her story. Maybe you'll meet... What is that?
No, I don't know.
All right, we'll end it here, guys.
Okay.
All right, I'm a huge fan of you. I can't wait to see how far you get. I'm gonna be supporting.
Appreciate it.
Let's keep doing what we can for our Lahui and ourselves.
Yeah, let's cheers with our Shaka teas.
Yeah, I've never cheered.
Hey,
it's a good idea. All right, so mahalo Kelana for joining us on the Hawaiiverse podcast. Check us out on Hawaiiverse.com. the best place to support local. Spread aloha, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. New episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka, and you'll hear me next time on the Hawaiiverse podcast.